Wayne Spooney here with Jake Eisenberg. We're getting another Spooney-hosted pod, so expect positionless pod, as somebody called it in the chat last time. What's up, Jake? How's it going?
I love that. Yeah, that's right. Just a couple of ball handlers, bigs, and wings, and that's all we got, and we're ready to roll. I'm good, man. We're back. 3-game winning streak. Celtics are good. And
remember when they lost 2 games and everyone was freaking out? Yeah, imagine that.
We're the only team that's not allowed to lose games is becoming more and more true as the season goes along because, as we'll get to later, some teams can lose disgusting games over and over again. It doesn't matter for them, but it only matters for us.
People still completely believe in them. We have 50 wins before 20 losses, which is absolutely nuts, dude. But off the top, let's get into the housekeeping here. Like and subscribe. Yep. Please. Playbacks. Jake ripping up the playbacks. Playback.tv/Celtics blog. Go check those out. Super fun. Watch the game with us and other Celtics blogs, folks.
Yeah, some people were freaked out when it was the non-Australian voice in the playback yesterday, but we had some last-minute changes of plans. But tomorrow I'll be back for the Phoenix game.
Let's go. I dropped a 3-leaf clover on Monday. I'm going to have another one coming out Friday, so please read those. That would be sweet. Join our Discord. I think the link is in the description on the YouTube. It's a lot of fun. It's pretty lively. There's well over 100 people in there now. Yeah, dude. I'm impressed. I'm shocked we have that many people who care to join it.
It's great. It helps us with the podcast too. Like everyone's throwing awesome stats in there. There's multiple people that are doing their PhDs or have completed their PhDs that are in the Discord. So there's a wide range of intelligence in there. That's for sure. Us being on a different end of that spectrum.
One end, yeah.
Yeah.
Not the Tice crunching numbers end. I can tell you that much. Yeah. We have merch. I'm wearing. This just came in today.
Oh, sick.
Yeah,
the merch
buddy,
is in.
Go. Yeah, the merch is in. Check it out. The link is in the description. And if you like our show, go check out 2 other CLNS shows, Celtics Lab and How About Them Celtics, and the HBTC guys were hosting the playback last night. It was a lot of fun. They have a different vibe than us as far as playback goes. They don't take it as life or death as we do because we're maniacs. But it was a lot of fun being in there with them. So
absolutely.
All right, let's get into the game. So really 2 games to talk about.
2 games,
I think we're probably going to focus on the Utah game because Portland, it's like was that even a basketball game? Yeah.
I don't know. No.
Celtics beat the Jazz 123-107. What's the general takeaways here, Jake?
Missoula ball, dude. That was a Missoula ball game. 20 for 49 from 3, 40%. You just have no chance. The Jazz had no chance, really. I mean, they kept it close, honestly, throughout. Like, they made a couple of runs. They never actually, took the lead. I never got super concerned. But, yeah, 49 threes. I mean, and that's what you're going to get when you're playing 34 minutes of Sam Hauser, 25 of Peyton Pritchard. You're going to get some shots up, and you get no Jaylen, no Horford, no Porzingis. You get Tatum out there. So you got what? We had 3 guys, I think, in double-digit 3-point attempts, which is pretty funny. Yeah, that's and yeah.
And Pritchard was at 9, so
I know,
4. Yeah, big time Missoula ball game. Yeah, they cut it to 3 in the third quarter, and then basically from that point out, it was Celtics the whole way. We went on this bizarre 21-0 run in the fourth quarter where we were 5 of 14 from the floor, but the defense, the Jazz couldn't even get a halfway decent look, man. And if not for Keontae George
he was good.
Going nuclear. Yeah, he's awesome, man. I really like him. He is unfortunately for him a member of my horrid fantasy team, but he's been one of the bright spots. So over these 2 games, I think we had 3 turnovers in Portland and 8 turnovers last night. So 11 turnovers in 2 games, which is what we basically averaged for 1 game. So taking care of the ball, and against these bad teams and bad defenses, as long as you don't bail them out of possessions and take care of the ball and get shots up, you're going to be all right. And they were totally fine. They were in control of both these games from start to finish, really.
Yeah, great point. And if you're going to win the turnover battle, you're going to beat them in offensive rebounds, and you're going to shoot 53s against the Jazz. You're just not going to lose. It was. I just had fun with the last watching the game yesterday. We're in a weird place with the Celtics right now, and this is a weird part of the season anyway. But from the 4th seed all the way down to the 8, 9 seed in the East. People are like fighting for their playoff lives every single night. Meanwhile, we're just like
9.5 up.
Yeah, 9.5 up. We're 5 or 6 up on the NBA. But it's we're just kind of waiting now for the playoffs, or we're waiting for some big games or bigger moments. But now, so like yesterday is a game like it was just different. It was just like, okay, this is just from like a pure entertainment perspective. I just had fun watching like the Tatum, Derrick, Drew, Hauser, Kornet, Tillman version of the Celtics, because we know what the other version of the Celtics looks like, and they would have probably won by 25 as well. So we just got a different flavor of a 25-point blowout, which at this point in the season is just like a welcome sight for my eyes.
Yeah, dude, and I really like this team's mindset where, like, look, we know even the Udoka Celtics were prone to like taking their foot off the gas against some of these lesser teams, but this team has been, short of like maybe 3 times this season, has been locked in and playing the right way on both ends, like every night, dude. And look, the Jazz the last 2 weeks, 30th in defense, right? So like it's not like they're gonna get you out of your stuff and make you go ISO ball and force bad possessions a lot, but like we've seen this team struggle against Detroit and go ISO ball against Detroit sometimes in previous years. And the fact that they were like running stuff against Utah, dude. It looked like Golden State Warriors. Like Tatum's flying off pin downs. He like never does that stuff. He's actually setting screens. He rolled once instead of just popping. Yeah. So like I felt like Mazzulla just had a very deliberate approach to be like, let's get into our sets, man. Like, let's actually run some offense tonight. Like, I know you can probably just give the ball to Tatum and get the Keontae George switch, and it's probably going to be a win anyway. But I just really love their approach. Yeah, absolutely. Like, they stuck to a game plan on a night where it would have been very easy just to be like, whatever, these guys can't stop us. Yeah. But the thing about being the Celtics is like, I don't know. I got the sense that like the Jazz and like Colin Sexton and Keontae George and Chris Dunn, like people know that I mean, like you can hear the Celtics fans everywhere at the moment, which is like this whole road trip starting with Denver. You're getting the monster "Let's go Celtics" chants. So I feel like there's just a little bit of extra juice even in these games that are like kind of nothing. Even for Utah fans, it's like okay, similar to how we're like looking for reasons to find joy and fun in night in, night out, 3 games, 4 nights. You got the freaking Blazers Jazz back to back. You know, we got half of the East Coast of you know, the USA who are Boston's fans just sleepwalking like zombies through the last 3 days trying to survive this part of the Celtics schedule. But there was like a little extra juice. Colin Sexton's like slapping the ground and like Chris Dunn's going crazy, dude. Yeah.
So like I'm definitely not going to pretend like I've watched one Jazz game since the trade deadline. Like I actually enjoyed, like they're a fun team beforehand. Like you got Kelly Olynyk and these guys kind of running around. But now, I mean, Markkanen's out and like it's like, okay, these guys are in tank mode because they got a top 10 protected pick. I would guess that this is probably the hardest the Jazz have also played in a couple of weeks too.
Yeah, I would not be shocked because, they were coming at it. I mean, that's what, when you're like this far ahead of every other team, like you get everybody's A game too. And then you add in what you were talking about with the fans being in the building and everyone feels like that's an FU, dude. Like, so it's definitely, I thought the Jazz played pretty damn well, all things considered last night, man. Like, it's just, they were at a talent deficit, which is insane because we were missing like 2 of our best players. So even in that case, it's like they're still nowhere close to this version of the Celtics.
Dude, they shot 47% from 3. I didn't even realize that until right now. I was like, I feel like they shot really well, but like they only got up 32, but that's still like mid-20s in the NBA. It's not dead last, but obviously it's low. But you shoot 47% on 32 attempts. You're gonna think you're like in the game, and I guess that's kind of how they hung around and like not against this Celtics team. So before after the Nuggets game, I feel like we talked about D White and how we talked about the usage going down, the time of possession going down, and obviously there's no Jaylen and Porzingis and Horford, but the last 2 games that's ticked back up, and obviously especially yesterday it ticked back up. But even the Blazers game, he had 14 field goal attempts, and so like you see that, and then yesterday, I mean, was the the Derrick White show, man. I mean, what the hell was going on got into him, dude? Like, he looking like Steph Curry, dude. Any semblance of daylight, he's pull up behind screens over the top. Like, it did not matter. He was just like letting it go. And like, it's hard to know what if they're keeping close to their chest. Like, in the post game, Missoula was like, we got back to our bread and butter. We know that Derrick is like really important, yada, yada, yada. Like, everything that we've been saying about, and all the numbers say that Derrick White as like the initiator and as the KP Derrick stuff is the way to be playing most of the time. And we just haven't seen it as much. Is it just because they're getting away from it kind of by accident? Or is it because like, we know this is what we're going to go to. We know we can execute this thing. There's no point in just like spamming it and putting a bunch of film on it and giving teams a chance to really game plan on it in the last like part of the season. We don't know if that's what they're doing or not, but it's great to see him like more involved, because when he is involved, dude, he's just special, dude. He just the decision making, all of it. Like, who is this guy?
I know, dude. And I think the thing I love the most about Derrick when he's playing like that is like, it feels like, bar the occasional end of shot clock shot, like it's always the right decision for him to take that shot or get downhill and be aggressive. Like, he's never ever forcing it. And that the flip side of that is sometimes he can get kind of lost in the game, like we saw, the past 2 weeks or so. But when he's feeling it, dude, it's like rising tide lifts all boats. Like, when he's that dangerous and they have to commit defensive resources to him, it's over, dude. Like, there's absolutely nothing you can do, because then it's like, oh, here comes Jayson Tatum. He's got 34, right now, and he's about to get 38. Like, there's just no way to defend it when, if this version of Derrick White shows up 4 games in a series, no one could beat us. And like, I 100% believe that.
And this has been the best version of Derrick White by a mile, obviously, this season. And like, I am really excited to see what he looks like in the playoffs, because he did get skittish, not necessarily skittish, but he wasn't as aggressive in specifically the Miami series. And like, teams are going to be game planning for Tatum and Jaylen. Like, we know there are the Tatum rules to get him uncomfortable. And you're 100% right. Like, if Derrick White is causing chaos on the offensive end, then that's how the Celtics win. Because as soon as he starts spraying the ball around, then. And yes, great comment in the chat here from Tom Myers. Pass the ball tattoos for everybody on Tom. Thank you, Tom. I think that's a great idea. But yeah, dude, when these guys are moving the ball, and again, that starts with Derrick. Like, even like Drew, who's a guard, he's just not the type of point guard distributor that Derrick White has the ability to be. And when he's running the show like this, it's just, the team's just so much more fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, dude. And I just feel like your role players play a lot better when they feel involved in the team and get to touch the ball and get to make some decisions and put it on the floor once in a while. It's why I hate Luka Doncic. His game, not personally. He actually seems kind of chill personally. Yeah, like, it's hard to play with a dude when your only touches are expected to take corner threes. Like, some guys just can't deal with that. It's like we saw with Nesmith on the Celtics. Like, he was just never going to become this type of player because he never touched the ball. So, like, he can't get comfortable. He can't work out the kinks. He can't get his confidence. But when Derrick's running the show, everybody gets a piece of the ball. He's constantly moving. He's always setting screens, and he's like, he doesn't have like pop off the dribble, but he's just so crafty, and his shot is so good now that he can leverage that to get himself downhill. And he's so good at working those screens with Kornet too. Like, Luke just sets him awesome screens, and he'll do like these little hezzies and get around and run people into the screen perfectly. And it's just perfect. Like, it's so good, man.
He's got the patience in the pick and roll. He just like never gives up his dribble. He's like penetrating. It always looks like because he doesn't have that explosive athleticism. He's had to figure out how to kind of get shots up over defenders without that. And so he has all these quick off foot, the floater game that we love, all that kind of stuff. But so like defenders are kind of like ready for him to do that, but then he kind of like lifts up to do one of those, but he keeps the dribble alive, and then it's actually that he just holds it for a half second longer, and then that's a dump off to Kornet. And like when he's doing that with KP and stuff, it's just Unstoppable. And this is before we even freaking mentioned, like, he had 3 blocks again, plus another steal. It's like, what is going on with this? Like, I mean, it's starting with the Phoenix game. I mean, he had, like, one of the most insane blocks I've ever seen in transition on Royce O'Neal, and then he follows it up. How many blocks did he have against Portland? He had 3. He's just got 6 blocks in the last 2 games.
Nuts, dude. He's a point guard. Did you watch a lot of, like, Le'Veon Bell when he was on the Steelers?
Oh, don't get me started.
Dude,
Yeah.
He would get he would get handoffs, and he would just be like so patient. He'd like make a cut in the backfield to like open the hole up for himself. I feel like Derrick White is like the point guard version of that, where he's just like so patient and so smart at reading the defense that he doesn't need to be, you know, Chris Paul athletically and with the handle, because he's Derrick White and he's just like seeing the game in 4D and just sneaks into these spaces, and like his wrong-footed floater is like back kind of. It's been a little hit or miss, but it's way back. It's way more back than it was like 2 weeks ago when he was really struggling with it. Yeah.
I'm torn on that analogy because the year I had the first overall pick in fantasy was the year that he held out, and I had 2 beers during the draft and forgot to draft James Conner as like the guy, and then my whole season was ruined. So yes, I respect Le'Veon Bell because I drafted him first overall, but he also ruined my year. So the pre-contract holdout version of Le'Veon Bell, great comp to Derrick White. I love it. All right, so like who else we got? I mean,
we gotta go.
I feel
Luke.
like I was gonna say I feel like Tatum's at I feel like Tatum's at like the bottom of the list here. Like
totally.
Like but like dude, Luke, what are we like? 12, 9, and 6.
What is that line, dude? What is that line? That's insane.
A Time Lord
it's
line.
Like a Karolinko line.
Yeah, dude, he's good. He's good, man.
Straight up.
He's just good, and he fits everything that we were talking about with Derrick White, with the decision making and the passing. Like, I mean, if anybody has a pass the ball tattoo, it's Derrick White. And Kornet's right there. As soon as he gets the ball, he's already thinking about where the ball is going to go and where his options are. He's looking for the next handoff. It's crazy for a guy that like used to be a shooter and like stopped shooting in this context because it made sense and honestly saved his career. But like in a game yesterday where he's going to play, how many minutes did he end up playing yesterday? He played 28 minutes. Luke Kornet, our guy.
I know.
But like he a couple like open like 12 like 16 footers on the baseline. I thought he could have taken a jumper, but instead he just moves the ball, finds a better shot, and it's like no one's gonna like fault him for taking some of those like jumpers in a game like yesterday where we know that he like can shoot. He's been incredible at the free throw line as well, by the way. But dude, and then on defense it's kind of crazy, dude. He's just good. He's proven you and Ben wrong. Let me tell you that.
That's a fact. Yeah, just me and Ben, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the only doubters. That's right.
Look, I think he's like better than Kendrick Perkins ever was, frankly.
Oh, yes. Clip that.
Dude,
Clip it, dude.
Yeah. Like, I mean, Luke is so money in the handoff game. I think he might be like our best handoff big too. And Derrick's really good at it. And Luke has gotten really good at like taking one dribble to like change his angle of the screen when he goes to hand it off. And he's just creating like a ton of space for these dudes, and it makes their lives so much easier. Lets Tatum walk into pull-ups. It lets Derrick walk into pull-ups. It lets Drew get downhill. And like, he's just so incredibly smart that there was something untapped in the way he was playing before that Brad saw that nobody else saw, where it's like, if your role is just big man spacer, you don't really make any decisions. Your one decision is, I have the ball. Am I wide open? Okay, I take the 3 to space it out. And Brad saw a different level of him offensively, where now he doesn't even he's like the all-time leader in 3-pointers made for a 7-footer in college basketball. Like, that's real.
Crazy.
Yeah, and now he doesn't even take them, and he's like catching lobs. His hands are better. I can't believe this is the guy who wouldn't look at the rim in October. And now he's like this hub offensively.
I can't believe this is the Cater Luke Kornet thing was a thing.
I know.
He's been great. And I was someone who was like, can we settle down about having to worry about paying Luke Kornet? But I think he probably gets offered more than a vet min at this point from someone. Like, that would be my guess, which is upsetting because there's a chance we don't get Luke back next year.
Yeah, I mean, I could see somebody doing like the taxpayer mid-level for
like
him or something like that.
6 mil, something like that. Yeah.
I think they just match that, right?
You would think so, but obviously every extra $4 million is a lot on this team
It's
that
like
has so many
20.
guys. Yeah. So I don't know, and so you end up keeping both Tillman and Kornet. It's going to be hard to break this team up. Like it's going to be like, because now the questions about the depth on this team have just not only was something we weren't concerned about, but like it's turned into a strength. Like you can have 3 guys down. Yes, like you 3 of your most important players down pretty much, and it's just again, this is the Jazz, but like
missing their best player.
That's
fair.
So like let's settle down a little bit. But it's been true all season long. Like they're like 14-4 or something without Porzingis. I think there's. Did I see a stat there like 6-0 without Jaylen this year? And obviously that some of those games are like games like this where he's choosing to take games off against bad teams. But not everyone can just beat bad teams when their second best players or third best players are out at the same time. Like it's not what happens, as we know all too well from the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, dude, look at what happened to Philly when Embiid went out. Like they went from one of the best teams in the NBA to literally one of the worst teams in the NBA. Like if Tatum goes out, we would definitely be worse. I think he's the only guy that would truly have like a massive impact on our ceiling. But this team would still crank along with Drew Holiday, Derrick White, Jaylen Brown, and Porzingis, and Al, and Tillman, and Luke Kornet, and Pritchard. And I'm like, dude, it's just like endless of positive players. Like Hauser, just splashing threes, man. He's hot.
So on Hauser, he was he got 11 threes up yesterday. So he has 14, 5, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. He's like a good team defender and like can hold up in isolation against a lot of guys. And then, by the way, in the Blazers game, he had freaking 22 points, 8 for 12 from the field, 6 for 10 from 3. Like again, Blazers, Jazz, take it with a grain of salt, but he's a fun role, and this is like as playing starter minutes. My question is like the team that played yesterday. So your starters are Tatum, Hauser, Kornet, Drew, Derrick, and your bench is Pritchard, Tillman, O'Shea, and Jordan Walsh. Let's say. What?
I'll just say
of course,
sure.
He might be getting some more minutes in that version of this team.
Yeah.
What seed is that team in the East? Are they a top 6 seed? Like I posted on Twitter, so a couple people be like, "Yep, they're the 3 seed." I'm like, I'm not trying to go that far. Like, but maybe though. I don't know. Like Tatum, Derrick, and Drew every night in, night out. It's like good luck,
dude. And you look at Tatum's net rating when he's playing with Pritchard and Hauser, and it's like plus 13. So like they murder people when he's playing with those guys. So there's an argument for top 3. But a part of why Tatum in the bench crushes is because it's Tatum going against other teams' benches.
Correct.
Yeah. So are they better than the Knicks, like fully healthy? Probably not. Are they better than Cleveland? Probably not. Although I
think they're in the similar. I think the Bucks are going to be one there, but like in a series, I think they'd be right there with like Derrick and Drew and Tatum as your main 3. I think, like, in regular season perspective, they'd be in this fight right now. That's like the 4 through the 8 seed. They'd be just with all of those teams, basically, which is pretty funny that a team missing 2 of their top 3. You can't even rank them anymore. It feels like Derrick, Jaylen, and Porzingis are like all in tier 2 of the most important players to me. Like, I think for them to be at their ceiling, you need all 3 of those guys. Tatum still being the most important guy. And I don't know, maybe we go Tatum next year, but like,
yeah, let's do it.
Hey, big shocking. Jaylen and Porzingis are out. And it's just like he's averaging 27. People are like, oh, he's not, this guy or whatever. You take Jaylen Brown off this team specifically, and Tatum's averaging 32 points a game. That's just going to be the way that his numbers would be. He'd be averaging an extra assist and a half, and he'd be like 33, 32, 8, and 6. That would be his season stats. It just would be. And so it's fun to see. And like, I didn't even think he played that well yesterday, really. Like he was fine, but like I'm shocked actually that he ended up being he did some stat padding late. I feel like the last 8 points were pretty stat paddy, but yeah, this is what he would be doing because there's a lot of bad teams, a lot of like not great teams you get to play every night, and instead of him resting in the fourth quarter or the shot distribution being spread out, he would have 25 shots, 23 shots every night as opposed to 19.
Yeah, dude. And like you surround Jayson Tatum with shooting, you're going to have a good offense. Yeah. And you give him a roll man like Luke who can set a good screen and get him free. I mean, it's going to be Derrick, and Tillman's a good screen setter too. Like that's going to be a danger that they would be like the 6th seed no one wants to play in the first round. You know what I mean? So and like Joe, great coach. I think that is a team that's like designed for Joe's strengths as a coach too, with all that shooting and the interchangeable guys. So that team would be really fun team to watch because like 30, 39 threes, like they'd be like, I think 53s a game would not be out of the question if that were the team, dude, with Hauser and Pritchard.
Dude, yes.
Live getting like 25 minutes each, 30 minutes each.
I mean, they've even got Tillman shooting threes now.
I know, dude. It's great. It looks good, dude.
Hey, shout out T-Mac in our Discord. He's been on the Tillman being a shooter guy, which I've been like, I feel like is more of wish casting than a real thing. But Aaron Baines turned into a 3-point shooter out of absolutely nowhere in the playoffs.
Amir Johnson was hitting threes randomly one year.
Maybe he just wasn't taking enough, and he's got to start taking them. And I think he only technically made one. I think he had a foot on the line yesterday, but I thought he made 2. Yeah, and so
one was like barely on the line. Yeah,
yeah, which means I'm pretty sure he's like 3 for 4 or something like that, or over his 3-point attempts is coming to the Celtics. I'm like, okay, he's in the corner and she's shooting him, and like, okay, but yeah, I don't know. Back to Tatum. I don't know, just an easy light 38. I don't know. Yeah, the dunk on Keontae, the like shoulder. I was glad you should definitely let something like that go, but he just bullied him. Have you heard of been listening to podcasts about how like the rules have changed a little bit? Like the refs are kind of playing it a little, like letting people play a little more. Honestly, I didn't really notice it that much until like yesterday and the game before, because I like started paying attention to it more, because I felt like the Denver game was going to be physical regardless, so I didn't really notice
Cavs too. The Cavs play really physical as well, so I thought it was because like remember what's his name, the chubby dude like hammering Porzingis on that post up.
Oh, Niang, yes.
Niang, yeah. And I was like, this seems not ordinary, and I guess maybe that's part of it is they're just going to let guys be more physical, but I had no idea. Did they announce that?
No, they didn't at all. It was like everybody's like, they're just letting people play more physical now, which I'm all for, because I think when Tatum's forced to play more physical, he's just better. And yesterday he went in the post a bunch. They've got a bunch of guys you can mismatch on. I think it favors the Celtics a lot, because like Tatum and Jaylen like to use their off arm a bit more, and so if everybody's just like getting a little bit more physical, the guys that are 6'7" and 240 pounds, like I think that's going to favor them, because the perimeter guys can't match up with those guys if they're allowed to be even more physical.
And we also never foul already defensively.
Yeah.
And if we can get even more physical without fouling, dude, like this defense could go to another level if we allow like a little bit more physicality too. I thought it was hilarious watching Tatum. Like he would beat the first guy, and like multiple times the help defender was like Colin Sexton or something. And he would just like lift the ball over his head and gently lay it in past him. There was like 4 layups like that where I'm like, this is unfair.
So many times I was like, oh, I wish he would just do this more. And then I'm like, well, they're not really defending him. So if teams just didn't defend him, then yeah, he should. It's important to remember that we're playing the Jazz again. But yeah, like it was just good for him, I think. Like to have a game where he kind of just got to be a little bit selfish, and even down the stretch, it was like it was just like the game was pretty much over, but Derek was just like, Tatum was just posting up whoever was, it didn't matter who was guarding him. They didn't even actually try and get a switch. He just walked down, post up on the block, and then he just like tried to go to work for like the last 5 minutes as if it was like a practice. And I was like, this is cool, fun. Like, obviously it doesn't really matter. They're going to win the game regardless. It was kind of annoying that Tatum actually had to come in at all. Probably didn't actually have to come in at all.
No.
But he did because he's a psycho. And Joe's a psycho too. It's like, go in there and just...
Because I think he had 32 and got 6 straight at the end there to make it 38. Do you think, because we were up 17 when he came back in with 5.5 minutes left, do you think he was like, Joe, let me get 2.5 minutes to get 40? Like, let me try to get 40. Come on, Joe.
I mean, he didn't actually end up playing too many minutes. So made like 33. Well, the box score says 33.60. I'm pretty sure that's just 34 minutes, NBA.com. But he can't help himself. I mean,
He can't.
I guess it makes sense that like Jaylen was out. You want to leave one of the Jays in there. He had at least 33 is not too much, but he played the entire second half against Phoenix. He played 35 minutes against Portland, and then you have the time difference. You have a turnaround. You're playing in altitude less than 24 hours later, and he just loves playing. I honestly think that we're getting to a point which I like is more positive than negative, but I do think like you guys are team rest. I've been team. They're doing a good enough job of resting, but like I do think at some point they're going to need to protect Tatum from himself and like put more of a priority on the playoffs. And like there's still plenty of time to get rest. Like even like 10 days out from the playoffs beginning, or like if he's just not really playing at all, then that's going to be fine as like a recovery period. But they should be starting to like ramp him down. And I know you got to start testing the limits, so like some 40-minute games here and there. But he hasn't missed a game in forever, dude. I don't even know the last time he missed a game. I'm gonna look it up now. But like, I think they need to start protecting him from himself a little bit.
Yeah, I think he's played 62 of 65 games now. So he's only missed 3.
The last game that he missed was against Indiana on the 8th of January.
Dude, come on, Tatum. That's 2 months ago, buddy. Like, you got to get a game a month at least.
I know we had the All-Star break in there.
Me and Ben need it. We're too neurotic.
Like he's missed 3 games.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's great. And he plays like 38 minutes a night, 37 minutes a night, man. He's a throwback, dude.
It is dope. Like it's objectively cool that he likes to do this. And I think that's a big part. Like, and dude, there's all these Celtics fans in the crowd, like, that have come to see him. And so like I totally get it, wanting to do it, but maybe it's home games where you find it, or you just like you got to get him down to like 31. Like I guess yesterday's good. 33. That's kind of lower than where he's usually at. And let's be honest, the last 2 games were light minutes.
Light 33. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's not a huge issue, but I think we should probably get him a little more rest.
Yeah, and like I think the way to do it and keep him sane is like low 30s minutes, because he did look a little worn down in Portland. Like he missed a ton of layups, and then he comes back and drops 38 in altitude. So who the hell knows? Like, he just has those games sometime, man. I think it's just something that's going to be with him for his whole career, where it's like he just has games where he can't make layups or can't make a 3. So.
Which just happens. It's so funny. Like I've watched the last couple games on delay, so I haven't been like on Twitter till afterwards. And like I watch these games and I'm like, oh, like Tatum didn't play great, but you know he ends the Portland game with like 20, 26, 8 and 5 with 1 turnover, and I'm like, okay, you know, if that's his bad game, it's not so bad. Everybody's freaking out that like. No. It's like
what a disappointing season he's having. Yeah, even against Phoenix, he had like 10 boards and 7 assists. You know, it's like he's filling it up everywhere else too, and that's what you want to see when the shot's not falling. The shot's gonna come back. Like he's done it for so long. Like he's not gonna be inefficient.
Yeah, he was 4 for 10 yesterday, 8 for 8 from the line. Oh, by the way, new free throw routine. I don't think we've talked about this.
Oh,
what's going on with that?
We haven't. I have no idea, but it's
with the ball in front of his face. That's completely new.
Yeah. So
like,
I don't know, but he went 8 for 8, right?
Yeah.
Or no, it goes 6 for 8 or 8 for 8.
No, 8 for 8 from the line yesterday.
Nice.
And he was 6 for 8 against Portland.
Portland. Yeah, that's what it was.
But it's very odd to me that he would do that in the middle of a season because it's not like
Yes.
like the free throws have been a little bit of an issue. It's been driving me personally insane, but like it hasn't actually been like that, like a big issue for someone that has a really long track record as an 85% free throw shooter to like middle of the season just change their free throw routine feels pretty rare. So I don't know what's going on there, but interesting.
He's over 90% in March, so it's working.
Keep it going.
Yeah, I think he's at like 92% or something like that this month. So yeah, whatever. As long as it keeps working, dude, go for it.
Can Jaylen change his free throw routine, please?
Joe Barry Carroll it, dude. Like throw it underhand.
Oh,
or no,
like
it was
Rick Barry.
One of the Rick Barry. Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah.
All right, we should probably stop talking about this game and do the ad read.
Oh shit, yeah, ad read. That's a good idea.
Okay, ad read now, and then we'll finish up the game, and then we'll move on. All right. The NBA playoffs are coming, and the action on the floor is heating up. Whether it's these sad little teams that haven't locked up the number 1 seed and are fighting for seeding, or tournament season, there's no shortage of high-stakes basketball moments this time of year. Get in on the excitement with PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, where you can turn your hoops knowledge into serious cash. PrizePicks even offers injury insurance, so that your entries stay live even if one of your players gets injured. For basketball games, if you have a player who exits in the first half and does not return in the second, that player projection won't count against you, and the rest of your entry stays live. Porzingis sitting on a back-to-back, you know we're going for more on Horford points, rebounds, and assists. Download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Yeah, everybody go on to PrizePicks, sign up, use the code. It really helps us a lot. Just get on and just sign up with the code. You don't even have to put any money on. Just use the code, check it out, have a play around it. It's fun. Like play a Celtics game and go more or less on some Tatum Jaylen stuff, and you don't even place the bets. Just see what you think you could do. It's in track to see if you're getting them right, and if you think you're right, maybe you start getting in there. But it'll be great if you chuck the code CLNS in there. It will greatly help us out, and so I know you guys love helping us out. So please.
Yeah, and we have a section of the Discord for more or less games. Yes. So even if you're not betting, throw those in there. It sparks discussion. It's a good way to look at matchups too when you see what the more or less number is. Like, Tatum, maybe he's high up there because it's a good matchup like Detroit. And then it's like, well, but is he going to defer? Are they going to double him? Blah, blah. So it's just kind of another way to look at and analyze the game. So definitely check out PrizePicks. Use the code CLNS. It seriously really helps us. And so, we appreciate it. We appreciate everybody. But I wanted 2 quick shout outs before we move on. Tillman, I thought he just looked super solid on both ends, moving the ball, playing solid defense. He has thank you, Ben, towing that line. He has this unlucky, where he's just not long enough, but he gets good contests on layups. But people seem to still make them anyway on him. So I wonder if that will balance out a little bit. But I've just no complaints. He's just so easy to plug and play. It's
wild, yeah. He's straight into the system, and again, I think that's part of this team. It's like you bring in a guy that's got high IQ. Brad Stevens, he knows the types of players that he wants. He knows the types of players that fit in this system, and exactly. Tillman, he's been here 2 seconds, come in, and the machine just keeps moving. Yeah, I really like him, man. I would like to see him in some bigger spots and some switch everything lineups as well. But I love it, dude. He can switch out onto guys. He's tough, dude. He gets to balls, which on the glass, he's bigger Grant Williams defensively, and bigger, more agile version of Grant Williams. And you still wish that Tillman had 1 inch more on his height and wingspan, but that's multiple inches more than Grant had. So he's more effective in those spots. So, man, I love it. Ecton, give it to you every night. I'm here for it.
That's right, baby. Yeah, and he just does stuff, which I like.
Yeah.
He's just always doing things. And same with Brissett. So shout out Brissett coming in, shot of adrenaline every time he touches the floor. Not always positive adrenaline, but often he's doing good stuff. And a couple times Brissett, like when someone was like isoing or the possession ground down, he made like a really good cut to the free throw line and got hit with the pass, and it sort of like re-energized the possession, got people moving, got us back into it, and we generated good shots out of those like 2 or 3 times I saw him do that. So that's something we've kind of lacked. So I wonder if we'll see. I think we will see more Brissett as we go down to the end of the season here for sure.
Yep, I love it. Give me some more Till. I feel like they're being careful with his injury stuff as well.
Yeah,
I think so. But yeah, good to see him come in. Man, yeah, the depth on this team, dude. He's the fucking fourth big on the team, and it's crazy.
Yeah. All right, should we get into the fun stuff?
Yeah, let's get into the internet was really having a time today. And so where do we want to start? Should we go with this?
Let's go with Mike.
Okay. Mike Gorman was on 98.5, and I'm sure the conversation had more in there than this, but this is Mike Gorman being asked about old friend Grant Williams.
Was Grant Williams a huge pain in the ass? Like, you were on the plane and stuff. Was he annoying?
I was on the plane because I didn't travel with the team.
Oh, that's right. Okay, sorry.
But he was annoying. He was annoying to everybody. I think initially everybody thought, oh, isn't he kind of a wise ass? But he's kind of cute and he's kind of funny. And then it just kind of wore thin. And it got thin quickly in Dallas, obviously. If you start to take on Doncic, you're not going to be around for long. So, yeah, he had some issues in that area that if he doesn't get rid of, he's not good enough to have teams say, well, okay, but despite that, we're going to keep him here because he's a great player. He's not. He's an extra. He's an 8th, 9th, 10th guy in your roster. So those guys are very replaceable, especially if you get a guy's a bad locker room guy. If you're a bad locker room guy, you're the 8th or 9th guy, you're not going to be the 8th or 9th guy for long because you're not going to be on the team for long.
Was Grant Williams
E3rd.
Jesus, Mike, dude. Oh my God.
Mike's like, it's my last season. What do I care? I'm going out gunslinging.
And then Tatum. So this obviously goes a little viral. And then Tatum tweets out today, retweeting someone aggregating this thing, and it says Grant Williams equals great teammate. Which,
fair.
Hey, look, everybody knows where I am on the whole Grant thing. That's been more of a basketball thing, honestly. It's gone too far, Grant. Like everybody, like I think this is pretty. Honestly, like it's funny from Gorman, but like I think we're way over the top with all the Grant hate from a Celtics perspective. So I really appreciated Tatum coming over the top and like, dude, everybody fucking relax, dude. Like we love Grant. He is annoying. Like we agree, but we love him. Like so just chill out, everyone.
Yeah, look, I love Mike, but this was like totally uncalled for, dude.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no reason to go scorched earth on a guy who's not even on the team he left us for anymore, you know? So I get it. Mike's, he's in his old ornery phase here where when I'm 80 or whatever, I probably will be the same way. Like, oh, yeah, that guy was annoying as hell. Like, everybody hated him when that's definitely not the truth. He got voted teammate of the year.
Yeah.
I think the year we went to the finals. So clearly, like, the guys didn't hate Grant Williams. And maybe he was wearing a little thin after 4 years, but that happens with lots of guys, dude. I don't think it's anything. So I just thought it was hilarious that Mike went so in on him, dude.
Yeah, look, Tatum brought Grant to the Michael Rubin White party. He didn't have to bring Grant. He could have brought anybody. So he was
actually. Real quick,
Go ahead.
I bet he annoyed the shit out of Missoula, though. I guarantee that.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Missoula doesn't have time
Grant.
for this shit.
No, definitely not.
That's actually a good call. Yeah, I think if anybody didn't like him, Missoula was probably right at the top there. But yeah, so that was a weird one today. And then we also got Jaylen Brown liked a tweet. Where is it? Here. Oh, here it is.
There we go.
All right, so Jaylen Brown, I mean, so Green Runs Deep, friend of the podcast. If Jaylen Brown was a number one on a team, he would average 30 points per game and be in the MVP conversation. Jaylen Brown likes it. And then our good friend, Al Horford-Pacino, the darkness on NBA Twitter, a necessary darkness, I think. It's a good balance. Yeah, exactly. Cannot believe he decided to create this distraction after a game. He shot the ball 30 fucking times, which is just, once you learn to love Al Horford-Pacino for who he is, it's hilarious. I love the tweet so much. I don't know, first question. Do you think Jaylen Brown would be averaging 30 points per game to be in the MVP discussion?
30, yes, definitely. I think he would be averaging 30 if he was on Detroit or something. But would he be in the MVP conversation? No. Probably not. No, probably not, unless he all of a sudden became like an 8-assist guy or something like that, which I don't see happening. Which I love Jaylen. He's been awesome. He's like the perfect number 2 as a guard, and there's nothing. Awesome. Yeah, there's nothing against that. Like, that's not, I'm not hating on him. It's like there's very few guys in the league who are number ones, like, period. It's just not a common thing. So no, he would definitely not be in the MVP conversation. I also don't give a shit that he liked that tweet either.
Yeah, that's kind of what Jaylen does on Twitter. He just likes Jaylen propaganda. He's reposted us on Instagram and stuff like that. I think that's just what he does. I think the idea that Tatum would give a shit at all about that, I think Tatum probably agrees with Jaylen. I think he'd be like, yeah, I think he could. I think he probably which all these guys think this about themselves. This is not fucking news.
Pritchard probably thinks that, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Pritchard's like, if I could be fucking Derrick White, dude.
Give me 25 shots. You kidding me? I'm going for 30 every night. Yeah.
I'm pro MP, dude. Easy money. Yeah. So I mean, it's a complete non-story, in my opinion. I'm sure someone will. I guess we'll see if someone asks Jayson about it. But if they ask the guys about it, is this going to be the whole thing about sacrifice? Jaylen's going to be like, yeah, Tatum could average 33 if we weren't on this team, as you saw last night. And Jayson will be like, if I wasn't on the team, I'm sure Jaylen would average 32, which he would probably. So I think Tatum probably just agrees with the tweet. So I don't think it's a big deal at all. All right. I don't know if you have any other thoughts on the Jaylen Tatum saga.
No, I think that one's pretty set in stone, man.
All right. Well, hang on. Before one more piece of nonsense, and we'll get to everybody's favorite segment. But
right, awesome.
If everybody hasn't seen the Derrick White commercial that's come out today, well, here it is, and it's 1 minute and 3 seconds of just glorious content.
This is Derrick White, and today we're going full Boston.
Do I have to wear this?
Absolutely. Your cousin from Boston.
Do you ever win anything?
Not with that attitude. Hawkin. Garden. Oh, hey, is this Boston Sports Radio? Are we on the air?
I got some thoughts about how great Derrick White is.
All right, any beer you want.
Dude, 11 a.m.
Fine, non-alcoholic. Yes, I knew it. You know you get 10 cents for these in Maine, right? My stepdad, Larry, spent Moschino winnings at the horse track.
I don't know what that means.
Cheers.
Not bad.
Right? Boston's best for Boston's best.
I appreciate it.
I was talking about me. Oh, watch out, Derrick White. Same time tomorrow?
I have a game, so no.
Beautiful.
Hey, I love it, dude. Oh,
he
man.
got in pretty good, man.
That was good.
Nice.
I love when they're like on this doing the sports radio thing, and Derrick White's Boston accent is basically just him going lower, scratchy voice. I got some thoughts on Derrick White. I'm like,
not even close on that one.
Yeah. Sam Adams, beautiful beverage.
Legends.
Please sponsor the program. That'd be beautiful. But like Derrick White, hey, this is getting big. I think if we want to go Galaxy Brain, this is good for the contract extension. Hey,
yes,
Derek,
dude.
you're making all this money on Sam Adams, Spano money. Who needs the $40 million contract?
What are you going to go to Charlotte or something? Dude, come on. 27.
Follow Gordon Hayward's path. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
loved it. is wonderful.
Yeah.
Let's
Beautiful.
get into it, man.
All
There's
right.
been a lot.
Last but
of
not
talk.
least,
Yeah.
here we go.
Sarah, I cannot believe.
Beautiful.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Every time.
Freud report. Jake, take
Here we
us
go.
away, dude. Come on.
I'm losing my mind, dude. I'm losing my mind, it feels like, about the fucking Milwaukee Bucks. Like, so the Kevin O'Connor and Chris Vernon yesterday on the mismatch just talking about, I think the Bucks are my East favorites. I think you gotta, Giannis, yada, yada, yada. It's like the Celtics lose one game, I guess technically two, lose a game to what everybody agrees is the best team in the NBA.
Yep.
And has the potential to be like kind of a dynasty the way that Jokic is playing right now, because they're going to be the best. He's going to be the best guy in the league now, running for 3 years, favorites to win the title again. And then meanwhile, and so we lose that game, and everybody's like, Boston. Everything that they've done this year, I'm not sure about it.
Meaningless.
And look, if you want to have some questions, fine. But then the Bucks lose by 1 million to Golden State. They let D'Lo drop 44 on their head, and then they get destroyed by the Kings. And like the only game they won in there was against the Clippers, which they almost lost too, by the way. And the Clippers were on the second night of a back-to-back, and there was no Kawhi and no Paul George. So it's like they don't look good for 4 games in a row. In like when they're fighting for a 2 seed, and they're actually fighting to be like, can we string together 2 weeks of good play? Because the playoff series takes around 2 weeks. You know, it'd be nice if we could play 2 weeks of good basketball, not once every 4 games. Dame Lillard goes 2 for 12, dude. 2 for 12 against the Kings.
He can't even get
Against
shots
the Kings.
up.
Against the
Can't even get
Kings.
shots up. It's ridiculous.
Dude, like anytime we play the Kings, it's just like it's food. We never lose to the Kings ever, because if you've got a bad defense, you can't beat the Celtics typically. And the fact that Dame can what's hilarious too is their best win is against the Clippers, who again were on a second night of a back-to-back. No Giannis. Dame goes off for 40. It's like, oh mate, look, Dame's alive. But it's like it's also not an awesome sign that Dame's best game of the season came without Giannis. And then he goes straight back to playing like shit again. It's like, is it good or is it actually bad?
And like Simmons, I think he's spot on with like these late 30s guys can turn it up once every week or once every 2 weeks, but they can't turn it up night in, night out. Well, you don't play 1 game a week in the playoffs, right? And like, what have they done throughout the entire season to have people looking at them? They're like 11-12 since Doc Rivers took over. It's not like they looked a lot better. So, okay, let's go month by month net ratings. October, Celtics 4th, Bucks 17th. November, Celtics 2, Bucks 9th. December, Celtics 2, Bucks 3. Wow, good job, guys. January, Celtics 4, Bucks 14th. February, Celtics 1, Bucks 9th. And March, Celtics 2, Bucks. Oh, where are they? Oh, I can't scroll down that far. No, they're 28th in March in net rating. There is not a single moment in the entire season where they've been anywhere near the Celtics level. And they win 1 out of 4 games, and people are now crowning them and saying they're playing better than the Celtics and they trust them more than the Celtics. What? I just, like, how do you even get there? Like, the Knicks, I think you can make a better argument for.
I'm like, I can understand the perspective of like, the Celtics are better, I'm gonna pick them, but Giannis is incredible and there's a chance he can win. That argument I can kind of get on board with, being like, Giannis is that good, there could be a shooting luck type of thing, and the Bucks maybe win. But it's got to be framed as like they kind of got to get lucky type thing, because there's no statistical eye test. There's nothing at this point, because the whole thing with the Bucks defense thing was like, I know they're not winning games, but it looks better. The numbers are getting better, etc. And now I have the tweet from Max on Twitter here. that quote unquote much improved Bucks defense is back down to 23rd over the last 2 weeks via cleaning the glass. Like, you can put lipstick on a pig. You can try. They played good. Basically, the only thing they started doing was playing better transition defense.
Yeah.
And it's like,
which doesn't really matter in the playoffs anyway.
not at all, dude. And like Middleton's not there, so that's like part of it. But like, one, he's never there, so that's just kind of the reality of the Bucks over the last 2 years, is that he just hasn't been there, and he can't guard either. So he was part of the defense that was in the 20s before he got injured, and like, he's a better defender than Malik Beasley, but he's not your lineup's not going to be Middleton and Crowder at the same time. So there's no way to look at the Bucks right now and be like, I think they're better than the Celtics. There's just no way outside of being like, I think Giannis could go to like a superhuman place and maybe that's how they win a series. I just read a circle jerk in the chat and my brain went
short
to thank you, RJ.
Short circled.
Yeah, Celtics Twitter is just a PCSD circle jerk. Agreed. Hilarious. So I don't know how people are talking themselves into the Bucks, like eye test or statistically. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Dude, when I watch them, I'm not like, wow, this is one of the best teams in the NBA. I think they're lucky to have the record that they have, frankly, when I watch them, dude. Like, there's nothing impressive about them except for like Dame and Giannis pick and rolls on those rare nights when Dame has it going. Otherwise, it is Giannis being a superhuman,
insane
psychopath to drag them to like a pretty good team. But like, it's just frankly intellectually dishonest to sit down and like, KOC's supposed to be like a numbers guy, an objective analysis. They are minus 7.7 net rating in March. Like, they're the 28th best team for 2 weeks. Like, how is this the time that you're sitting down and being like, it's got to be the Bucks? I mean, look at how they're playing.
Yeah, that's what's driving me nuts. It's like, people are like, they're turning it around. I'm like, how? They're 500.
Yeah.
In what world are they turning it around? Like, when has this ever happened? And where it's like, look at all these moral victories. It looks better. What are they going to be? They're going to be down 3-1 in a series and be like, but it looks better.
Dude,
so
you see the defense? It looks way better while they were making shots.
The numbers say that they are bad, but it looks better. So they'll come back here and the series over in 5. I'm losing my mind. But, so maybe – let's check the Bucks. The problem is – not the problem. Like, the Bucks play the Celtics in that game. And because one game, it's going to over-index narrative-wise. And it's like, I'm not saying the Celtics would sweep the Bucks, right? It's like they could just win the random regular season game, but that's going to be a disaster from a narrative perspective if the Celtics lose that game. I almost want to rest guys in that game because it's going to just be like, it's almost not worth it. But maybe that's going to be the only thing that flips it back the other way, is the Celtics come out and just like kind of kick the shit out of them again. So
yeah, and we'll be on a back-to-back too, I think, right?
Oh, are we?
Yeah, I think I'm not sure. Maybe not. I thought we were.
Let me check. Hopefully we are, because then we got the built-in excuse. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I could be wrong about that though. That's in the future. I don't look.
No, we don't. We don't.
We don't. Okay.
We have Suns tomorrow, and then it's a Wizards Pistons back-to-back, and then we have a day off, and we play the Bucks, and then we get the Pistons.
So it's a 3rd and 4. It's a 3rd and 4, but
3rd and 4. It'd be nice to maybe rest some guys in the Wizards Pistons games after the Suns, and 2 days rest for the Bucks. So they're gonna have a rest advantage.
Got it.
And so that's coming up though. So is that next week?
Yeah, dude. Man, I think that's like Friday or something, or Saturday.
Man, we're getting close to the end of the season here, man. That's why I'm like, the Bucks don't have time here. So
no. Like, it's over. Like, the first seed is essentially locked up. We can play like 500 basketball, and we're gonna easily lock it up with some games in hand. And I don't think we're gonna play 500 basketball. So
no,
dude, like, it's just stupid how much, like, Ben said it that Verno called. I haven't listened to it yet, but that like the ex-Boston guys are just so much harder on the Celtics than any other team. Yeah. We're just kind of boring, I think.
I think that's part of it.
Boringly good that there's like you just have to nitpick, and then when you nitpick for this long, you magnify those little nits and make them seem like a bigger deal than they actually are. So they can't guard Jokic. Yeah, no shit. Nobody can guard Jokic. Like, congratulations.
Yeah. All right. My AirPods sound like they're about to die. I got the little thing here. I forgot to bring my proper headphones to my parents' house and the whole thing. So it's probably a good time. Right on the hour mark. Producer Ben's in the chat. I can hear him now being like, "Oh, Spoonie and Jake going to go for another hour here." And
we could.
And we could talk shit about the Bucks all day long, dude. Yeah, man. Everybody, thank you for being here. Jake is now the host, apparently, as we outro our way out of here. We're going to be live for playback tomorrow, so come there. It's going to be a fun one. The Suns are all healthy. No KP, but we didn't talk about being a little worried about KP, but this is a good time for him.
KP.
Yeah, I'm a little worried, but this is if we're going to have a little issue, this is a good time to have a little issue. Yep. So we'll do a late night show probably after the Suns game. If not, we'll be back doing stuff and we'll talk about anything that we missed. It's actually hilarious that we didn't talk about that now that we've been talking for an hour. But anyway, thank you everybody in the chat. Spoonie, it's been a pleasure as always.
Always.
Until next time, go Celtics.
I love